I can already see the tweets on this one, but we're doing it anyway. How old is too old? New reports that former Vice President Joe Biden is weighing concerns over his age. And he's continuing to mull the 2020 run. The former vice president would be 78 years old on Inauguration Day, making him, if he wins, the oldest sitting president if he runs and then he wins. The New York Times reporting that Biden has discussed two ideas to ease voters' concerns about his age. One would be naming a young running mate as a nod to the next generation of Democrats. And two, a pledge to serve only one term, possibly framing his run as a one-time rescue mission for a beleaguered nation. And now, former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg has weighed in on Biden and the rollout of Beto O'Rourke's campaign. Watch it.
Joe Biden went out and apologized for being male, over 50, white. He apologized for the one piece of legislation, which is actually a pretty good anti-crime bill, which if the liberals ever read it, most of the things they like would be in that bill. They should have loved that, but they never even bothered to read it. You're anti-crime, you must be anti-populist. Everybody else, Beto, or whatever his name is, he's apologized for being born.
Wow. No, he apologized for saying he was born to run. Juan?
I mean, I just think, this is a moment when you have, I think we're about 3 months away, Harris, from the first debate. And we already have, I believe, 15 candidates, and Biden's not even in. I think you're going to have like 20 candidates. You're going to see all kinds of people. And what you're seeing here, I think, in large scale, and this is represented by Bloomberg, is people saying, hey, this younger generation, they come out and it looks like they're playing identity politics or they're apologizing for things that happened because we have such a diverse group, more women than ever. I think there's like maybe as many as 7 women.
Yeah.
7 women running. And so the kind of language, the attitude that you're going to see is totally different. And Bloomberg, of course, he declined to run.
Well, that's interesting. So I brain room requested here at Fox yesterday. There are 206 Democrats who filed indicating that they want to run.
Well,
now, they're not in it yet, but that's a big pool of people.
Joe Biden's biggest challenge is not his age. It's the fact that he has not proven himself ever to be a formidable candidate. You go back to the last actual competitive race that he had if you look at his Senate results, was 1972, which was the first Senate race he had ever ran. You look at his last race in 2008 against Christine O'Donnell, he absolutely trounced her because she was a terrible candidate. He has 2 failed presidential bids.
I am not
under
a
his
witch.
Well, exactly. He has 2 failed presidential bids under his belt. And I think one of his challenges is going to be the same challenge Hillary Clinton faced in her support for the 1994 crime bill. When you look at the fact that 4.4 million of the 2012 Obama voters that sat home in 2016, more than a third were African American. And this has already been an issue that's been reported that's come up with Biden in his previous support for the crime bill.
So if our camera grabs the big wall right now, you'll see, is it just a number with a question mark? Voters have indicated it's about ideas and moving forward, as Juan put. It's not about energy or anything like that. So if we look, up until this point, Donald Trump was the oldest on Inauguration Day at 70. I've sat across from the man. He's got a ton of energy. Yeah. It is about ideas. So is Joe Biden bringing the fresh and new? He would be 78 if he were to win and be inaugurated.
Well, it's certainly good for Republicans if he announces Stacey Abrams, and it's good for Republicans that Beto O'Rourke, or Robert Francis, is running for the presidency. Because why? Because they're not running in Texas and in Georgia, where there could be 2 incredibly competitive Senate races if Abrams and were to run with Biden. So if they do that, they're just hurting their own chances as it relates to getting the Senate back.
Do you think age is one of those things that people hinge a vote on?
Be careful here because I'm aging as I sit here.
I'm aging with you.
Be careful.
If you show signs that age is getting in the way of your energy, of your ability to campaign, and your ability to think logically. But I think Joe Biden brings one thing to the table. He does have an ability to laugh at himself.
He does.
And he does talk, he will talk, despite the apology about Vice President Pence, talk off the cuff and shoot from the hip. I really wanted Mike Bloomberg to run for the nomination because my few encounters with him over the years, he's not nice, and he's a terrible retail politician.
Wow.
So now we get to hear his commentary from the peanut gallery because he didn't have enough guts to get in the mix.
Ooh, Friday frankness. Let's move on.